My name is Anna Smith. I live in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm an 11-year domestic violence survivor and victim. My children are a product technically of child abuse, if you want to count witnessing domestic violence, and also an incident that happened on one of their visitations last year, August 19, 2017, that I have yet to get justice for. I can elaborate later on in a conversation over the phone or something like that, but the main purpose of this video. So being that I've dealt with domestic violence for now 11 years, and I'm pretty sick and tired of it, there's probably millions of people just like me, or are going through the process of it, or trying to get away, whatever journey they're in with domestic violence. There's a lot of research done on it and things like that, but unfortunately in the courtroom it doesn't fly. I started a political movement called Project Storm. I just finished, literally just a couple of days ago, putting up all the state capitol pages up on Facebook. So I'm trying to work on the online stuff right now, so it's kind of like, some pages have information, some don't, whatever. But the main page the national page on Facebook is Project, then a space, #Storm. I'll put that in the email. Virginia, our page is up. It's Project, and then a space, #Storm Richmond. Each state has a page, so #Storm Richmond, #Storm Tallahassee, #Storm Albany, whatever the capital is of that state capital pages. And then there's also a group for victims, things like that, and I'm hoping I can get advocates in on it to help with victims, things like that. So it's a Facebook group for Project Storm. Basically what Project Storm is I'm meaning for it to be a hub for all advocacy groups, all lawmakers, everyone. We are all Project Storm, because in order to end something or change something, you can't just be in bits and pieces. You got to be a strong wall, and this issue is bipartisan. It's non-religious. There's no room to point fingers. It is what it is. It's violence and no excuse for abuse, no matter what age, whether it be elder abuse, whether it be child abuse, whether it be domestic violence, whatever. No excuse. I mean, think of it this way. If you have kids, do you want somebody coming up to them telling them how ugly and fat they are, and then, just treating them like dirt, and maybe hitting them or sexually abusing them, or, think of your kids that way. I don't know, every family's dynamic's different, heck, you might be an abuser yourself, just saying, or you might be being abused and not realizing it, or, it's a mental game. It's really, it's a big deal. Now, as far as Project Storm goes, of course, the main scope, there's other scopes along with it, but the main scope is to drastically reduce, eventually abolishing domestic violence and child abuse. One way I'm trying to do that is I have partnered with a security company. I invented a child abuse watch that they're supposed to be developing, and day or night it's going to have a flashlight on it. It's going to have an app that child can activate, or, like the good guys are going to be on their way. Treat them like they're a little hero or something, They're going to press that app, and it's going to ping the police department. And when the police department gets that ping, they know a child's on the run, and they're going to immediately be on the way. And I don't know if it's going to be within the app or what, but that child's going to know how to activate something where it soothes them. It's going to be like grandma or dad or whoever the good parent influences in their life, whatever, soothing them. All right, the good guys are on their way. Sit tight, things like that. So that's just one thing. And then I'm going to be working on some cell phone companies. I know there's a couple of programs out there for domestic violence and phones, things like that. But I want to partner with them. I want to get this nationally going, so we can all work together and collaborate, we're going to have our bits and pieces. We're going to have our causes. We're going to have our advocacy groups and shelters and things like that. But, we're all going to come together and collaborate, so that way it'll be stronger. Next, basically what I'm talking about is this bill that I really need your support and everyone's support on. I've already called, around to the YWCA in DC and in Lynchburg, Virginia, and just different groups I've been calling. But the main person I need to get a hold of in my district, which this video is going to different people. However, you will be getting it to Mr. Steve Newman. You are my representative for my district. So, with that being said, it would start with Mr. Newman in hopes that he would approve this bill. And basically the bill is to meet fire with fire in the courtroom, even whether there's abuse or not. The bill would be pretty much, just like if someone was accused of a crime, whether guilty or not, guess what? They have the options of hire your own lawyer, would you like to self-represent, or have a court-appointed lawyer. Now, why does a crime get a court-appointed lawyer, but yet when it comes to kids and seeing where they need to be legally and physically, no, there isn't. It's not fair. Why? Because a lot of times one parent can afford a lawyer and the other can't. Is that equal? No. If there's a court-appointed lawyer, or if they're eligible too, just like a crime, it's equal. See? Now, there might be a guardian ad litem at play, let's say, but with guardian ad litem, the standards are they could be a grandpa, a volunteer, a retired attorney. No, under this bill, they're going to be an actual legal representation for the child or children as a unit, represent the children, because it would make it fair. You got representation, or you got legit corporate representation between the parents, it's fair. And then you have the child or the children, if it's grandpa or somebody who doesn't really understand the law, or even a retired attorney who might be outdated on some things or something like that, it doesn't make it fair. With this bill, it's going to make it fair for all parties involved, because that guardian ad litem would now have to be qualified through the Virginia Bar Association, the VBA, or what, if this goes national, whatever their state bar association is, they have to be qualified. This is children's lives at stake. And not only that, the parents are important too. It's their lives. Make sure that the parents are stable and the best we can. And then, it makes it more healthier for the kids. For instance, another example, with even domestic violence, things like that. You have, kind of two scenarios. Maybe you might have one scenario, or actually three scenarios that I can think of. One scenario could be, there is domestic violence. In my case, I'm the victim. He's done it on my children, and it is what it is. It is what I'm saying it is. And he is the abuser. We're the victim, right? Then there's another scenario where someone might be like, I'm a victim. But really, they're victimizing the person who's not the victim and hurting the kids. Because they're like withholding the kids or alienating, or, saying, well, they're the abuser, when really they're not. And they're a good father, a good mother, but yet they're really the ones being narcissists about it. Then there's another scenario, let's say with grandparents. You might have a narcissist grandmother or grandfather, that might be whispering things in the kids' ears and might be taking one side or the other, making the parents' relationship hard to coexist or co-parent, you know what I mean? And it just kind of like they get in the way. So let's say with CPS, in my case, and this is yet to be done, he assaulted me with a shotgun back in January twice, resulting in 2 brandishing of a firearm. But yet the judge here in Lynchburg wanted to send my kids back unsupervised after he beat my daughter up and verbally abused her, but yet CPS closed the case saying there was no abuse. Saying, well, we don't recognize verbal abuse here in Virginia. Bull. Okay, I'm sorry, but why do they have all these pamphlets and brochures at CPS and in the court clerk office stating what the Virginia law states as abuse? But yet they don't count it as abuse when, hello, these are kids. Let's take care of our kids here, on top of it. So let's say, a parent accuses another parent of violence or abuse or child abuse or whatever. Both parents are going to get a CPS investigation. Both. It covers all grounds because for one, okay, so let's say the parent's right and the other parent is abusing. There's an investigation, which chances are hopefully that they would get caught or busted or whatever so the child doesn't have to suffer anymore. But let's say it is that case of, oh, I'm crying wolf. Oh, I'm the victim. But really they're not, and it's the other person that's truly the victim and the children, and that second scenario. Well, guess what? Since there's an investigation on both, and that person's like, oh, get them for child abuse, CPS, go investigate them. Guess what? They're going to get an investigation too. Only makes it fair, So it keeps from crying wolf. So it kind of covers all grounds, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying CPS needs to be up people's butts. Nobody likes CPS. I'm sorry. I don't care. Nobody. I was a foster care child in the state of Florida. I hate CPS. I can't stand them. I don't like the way they run things. I don't like the foster care system. Like, for all I care, like, that system can just, because it's crap. And I will promise I will be working on that too. Because, when they say in the best interest of the child in the courtroom, they need to start meaning it instead of, law in the best interest of the law code or in the best interest of people's pockets, corruption, things like that. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it out. It's time to do the right thing. If we are for the people, by the people, if we're America, we're the United States of America, but yet we're all apart, like I said, with this issue, it's bipartisan. This is a chance to have peace, to come together, no matter what party, no matter what religion, no matter what, against an actual entity of, basically behavior, narcissism, sociopaths, psychopaths, things like that. This is going to reduce a lot of violence, and in any way, whether it be gun violence, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be child abuse. I mean, think of it. It's all kinds of facets, okay? The bill, there's other things included, which right now, there's somebody actually drafting up a professional grade bill. I'm not a politician, and I'm not a lawmaker, and I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm just a single mom who's been through hell with domestic violence and dealing with child abuse and trying to seek justice, okay? So, this is just stuff I've learned along the way, and, I am political, but I'm not a lawyer. So I'm just doing the best I can to help other people, amongst my children and myself. So, anyway, I do need your help. I need people to support this and back it and actually pass it and not sit around and wait on it, things like that. Like, let's just get it done. It's common sense. It's the right thing to do. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. So with that being said, not only do I need Mr. Newman to pass this or try to help me get it passed, but also to, let's have some more support on it. Let's get the YWCA in on this and back us, the Coalition for Domestic Violence. People who are advocates against domestic violence and child abuse, even maybe CASA or, heck, why not CPS? Let's back this and help make a better family unit and coexistence and co-parenting better, because it does get emotional in the courtroom, and I'm sick and tired of hearing the judges tell me, this isn't a place to get emotional. Oh, yes, the hell it is. This is my life. This is my children's lives. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, but the courtroom isn't always just for law. When it's the family courtroom, it's kind of a different type of setting, and people are going to get upset. We're going to cry, and we're going to base a lot of stuff on emotion. And when we have to self-represent, I'm sorry, we're not lawmakers, we're not lawyers. We don't know what you know. You, meaning the justice system, courts, the judges, okay? So it's like, and then I'm tired of hearing the court system is a failure. The court system's a failure. It is. The court system is a failure. I even have law enforcement locally here in several jurisdictions agreeing with me, backing me on this, okay? I even have their support. Cops. Okay? So, a lot of people agree with this. Too many people agree. Court system's a failure, and it's not just a failure for me. It's a failure for a lot. There might be some success stories, but not enough. Let's make it more of a success story for more people, more kids especially. These are our future. We screw up their future, then guess what? When we get old, it's going to suck. No more vacations, no more, golfing on the nice golf course or whatever people do when they retire. I don't know, but point is, let's just make this world a better place. Why not? So, anyway, thank you for listening. And if you're interested, please email me back or call me whatever information I leave. And I apologize for the video being so long, but there's a lot to this. And if you would like me to elaborate on anything, I'd be happy to. Thank you.